you guys, I know it's been a while. You haven't missed a thing. I haven't done anything to the lawn, only everything I showed you up until this point to get the lawn ready for summertime. I took a nice little long vacation after I graduated. First, I want to actually thank everybody that actually showed me a lot of support on my graduation photo. I really appreciate it. But like I said, I had to take me a nice little vacation, get away, had to do some things also. So it's been about a month, but I'm going to show you guys how the lawn has turned out and what we're going to plan to do next. So we're in the front yard. I'm going to show you a front yard overview, and then we're going to go to the backyard. I'm going to show you a backyard overview. So stay tuned and let's get this thing kicking up into full gear right now. If you've been here a while, you know this is turf type tall fescue. If you're new here, this is turf type tall fescue. I'm cutting at around 3.5 inches. And in the peak of the summer, I'll go up to 3 3/4. I never go lower than that. This is turf type tall fescue. It should not be cut lower than 3 inches. I don't know, some people do cut it at 2.5 inches. I guess they be experimenting. But for my lawn, I'm not going no lower than 3.5 inches. That's gonna help keep it green also and not burn out. But to keep a good, nice green lawn, you wanna make sure you're mowing at least twice a week. You wanna make sure you're getting some type of watering down. I've actually put down my little 3-zone watering system to start getting some watering on the lawn. We had a nice spring. Spring treated us really good with a lot of rain. So now, since it's summertime, we hit a heat wave over the last couple of days since summer was officially, declared. So this is side number 1 here. Like I said, just mowing, taking care of weeds. I put down my pre-emergent in early spring. You want to make sure you're putting down at least twice a year, early spring and in the fall. But you can also put your pre-emergent down in the summertime too. A lot of people forget that, but you can. But this is side number 1 here. And like I said, all I'm doing is cutting and making sure you have a nice sharp blade on your grass, because that'll help keep away diseases and keep the lawn healthy. So fertilizing, watering, and good mowing practice, that's gonna help you achieve a nice green lawn. And like I said, putting down your weed killers, pre-emergent, post-emergent, that's also gonna help. So this is the front yard. This is side number 2. And that is side number 1 right there. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look in the backyard and see how the backyard turned out. But hopefully the front yard looks good to you guys. I think it looks pretty good. And you know I like to put some stripes in it to make it look good. So today I'm gonna hit it with a dose of fertilizer, the last dose of fertilizer of granular fertilizer. And then I'm gonna switch over to a liquid base once it gets real hot. That's what I like to do. But as you can see here, this is how it looks. So it's nice and green naturally. So the fertilizer I'm gonna use today is gonna give it a nice little green pop, and it's gonna help it grow a little bit stronger and give it, nice little green color also. Now, across the street, that is the test plot over there that you saw me do earlier in the season. And it's turning out good. Let's take a walk and look at it. It's turning out okay, but for the most part, it hasn't been getting any water. And as you can see, this is in direct sun, so it is burning out some over here. As you can see that, it is burning out this part. But then as you go further down that way, it's nice and green because it's actually shaded for half of the day. But this one gets full sun. So let's get on there and take a look down. So this was the cheap Walmart seed. I'm not too upset with it. I like the way it grew in, and it's actually maturing. So I fertilized it early spring also, and then that was it. Haven't done anything else over here. Like I said, I wasn't able to get watering down. Spring treated is really good with the watering, but if you don't get enough water down, it's gonna burn out. And as you can see here, it is burning out, but I'm not too worried about it. This was just a little test plot. I'll actually correct it in the fall time and help it grow, and it'll get better as it mature and, overseed and everything like that. So let's go ahead to the backyard. Check it out. This is the lawn I've been showing you all season long. I showed you since March when it was dormant, growing in, just patchy, about to fill in. I showed you all the way up until this point now. And as you can see, everything growing very nicely. Got a little burnout spot right here. My dog went and used the bathroom right there. I didn't catch it in time and it burnt out, but I'm not too worried about that because it'll grow back. Now, if you remember this earlier in the season when I showed you how to patch fix the lawn, this is the same area. And it looks like it would never was anything wrong with it. Now remember, I put the peat moss versus the straw, and the peat moss actually won. It grew in a lot quicker, but the straw eventually filled in and, you know, caught up. But for the most part, everything looks very, very good. Now this is the natural color. Only thing I've been doing back here is mowing. Like I said up front, I actually fertilized it twice, put down my disease control also. Don't forget your disease control. As the temperature rise up, disease pressure will start hitting the lawn. And, you know, water in practice, if it's not drying out properly, it will hit your lawn. So don't wait for the 150 rule, the 150 degree rule. I don't wait for that. Like I showed you in the beginning, around Cinco de Mayo, May, I put down my first disease control. I don't wait. I put it down then, come back out 30 days, put it down again. And as you can see, my grass blades look good. No abrasions on my grass blades, nothing on the grass, no disease in sight. Now, if you do have a fescue lawn, you will get these little stalks in the grass. Do not be alarmed, because that's what happens when your grass turns to seed head and then it starts getting hot and die off. That always happens around May. So a cool season long, you always gonna get them little stalks. So I got them still in the lawn here also, and it happens. So that's not a weed, it just happens. It comes with the turning into seed head. But as you mow, you're gonna mow it right out because it doesn't grow anymore. There's a couple still down in there, but I'm gonna keep mowing, and eventually they'll be gone. You won't see them anymore. So let me give you a different view of the yard. This is the back view here. Now, yes, I could take a little mow. I'm a little bit overgrown. I'm cutting at 3.5. Haven't been cutting. I cut every 2 days, 3 days. So I'm due for a cut. But for the most part, everything looks good, naturally green. Like I said, I'm gonna feed it one more time, and then I'm gonna switch over to liquids. So let me go over to the table, show you what fertilizer I will be using, and we can wrap this video up. But so far, so good. Hope you guys like what you see. Hope you guys are getting the same results. So let's go over to the table now. If you've been here about last 2.5 seasons, you know I've been using the Stay Green Performance Max fertilizer because it has humic acid and sea kelp inside the bag. This is gonna be a 30-0-3, 30% nitrogen, 0 phosphorus, 3% potassium. So that's gonna give me a nice little feeding, plus a little bit of potassium for the overall plant's health and hardness to help fight off the disease. It's only 3%, but it's better than nothing. Got a lot of nutrients inside this bag. It's gonna give you 11 essential macro and micronutrients. It's gonna help restore your soil's overall richness. 6% iron for a nice dark green for, you know, people that like to have a nice deep green lawn. My lawn is already naturally green, but a little 6% nitrogen is gonna give it a nice little deeper green pop. So, you know, can't complain. Soil conditioning, this is supposed to feed for 6 months, but that's give or take, because with your watering or with Mother Nature, it can be 3 months, it could be 2 months, it could last 6 months. You know, it's all over the place. So got your basics, like I said, nitrogen, potassium, calcium, manganese, sulfur, boron, copper, iron, and magnesium and zinc inside this bag. So I'm gonna use the full Performance Max rate. They got the Performance Max rate and then they got the regular rate. The Performance Max rate is 3.6 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So I'm gonna use a total of 9 pounds today on my backyard because it's about 2,500 square foot. So as long as you know your square footage of your lawn, that's the most important. So now you can put down the right amount of product. Like I said, put down your disease control, your fertilizer, water if you can, and mowing and weeding. Put your pre-emergent and your post-emergent weed killers, and you're gonna keep your yard nice and healthy for the season. It doesn't take, you know, a scientist. You don't have to be Albert Einstein to have a nice green lawn. A lot of people make it seem like it's like, you know, you gotta be broken down to a science. No, just be consistent. Know what you're doing, know the products that you're using, and that's it. Read your directions, that's it. You don't have to be Albert Einstein. Anybody could get out in the lawn and do, you know, a fine job. So a lot of people show you all these different fancy chemicals. You don't need everything you see like that. You could add a couple little other supplements here and there, you know, but the main thing is mowing have a nice sharp blade, you know, feeding, watering if you can. And that's gonna help you achieve a nice lawn. And also, like I said, disease control and your weed control. That's it. A lot of people say, oh, buy this product, do this thing, and show you all these big fancy mowers, and you don't need everything. Let's see. Just go ahead, and I'm gonna use the bucket. A lot of guys always ask me about how to use the bucket to weigh out your product. You're gonna go ahead, this is a luggage scale weight. So, you know, you hook it up at the bottom here, just like this. Now, a lot of people always say, oh, you gotta tear your bucket out. This bucket is so light, it doesn't even register on the weight scale here. I'm gonna put it on here, and look, it didn't even move. So you don't have to worry about tearing it out also. Like I said, you don't have to be exact. If you have, like I'm supposed to use 9 pounds of product here, right? I can use 10 pounds. That'll be fine. I'm not overdoing. A little over is fine. Now, like I said, if I'm using 9 pounds on this and I use 18 pounds, now you overdid it. Now you're gonna run into trouble. But a little overage is not, you know, it's not the end of the world. So you don't have to be exact. Let's see what I have here. That little bit there is only 2 pounds. That right there, a little under 5 pounds. That right there, about 7 pounds, so I need a little bit more. Just about 9 pounds. That's good enough. So now I'm gonna go over, use my spreader and put it down. Never pour on top of the grass, always get a nice surface so you avoid spilling it into the lawn and burning out the yard. So I've done that before and I don't want to do it again. So now just pour it right in your hopper just like that. Always use a spreader to spread down your fertilizers, whether you have a hand spreader or a push spreader. So that's about it. Now we can go ahead and get this product down on the lawn. On this spreader, it says put it to spread on 4.5. So this is the little basic Scott spreader. So setting 4.5 is going to give me my rate to put down on the lawn. So let's go ahead and get the product down now. In your outer layer first. So you do a nice little pass on the perimeter. This was a spot right here that I actually dug out some POA and planted some grass, and as you can see, it is growing in. So, and that was over 30 days ago. So this grass seed takes a little while to germinate and establish, but it's doing all right. So just make sure you hit your perimeter first. This is the side yard. I haven't showed you guys that in a while, but it's doing very, very well. I killed some weeds right there, also some more POA. Some more POA over here that I was digging out. I'm not worried about it. I'll patch fix it in the actual fall when I do the renovation. So, but I dug out a lot of POA this season. Got tired of looking at it. Now, normally it'll burn out during the hot summer month, but I caught it early spring. It got past my pre-emergent. Normally you'll put your pre-emergent down in the fall, like I said. That'll stop all POA from germinating, and then you put it down again in early spring. I missed my fall pre-emergent, so that's why I was suffering from a lot of POA this season. But I'll handle all of that in the off season. I got majority of it out early spring, like I said, and planted some new grass, and it's looking good so far. Now you just make your little passes, overlap by a little bit, not too much. You don't want to over fertilize. And as you can see, I'm just going ahead at a nice little rate of walking and just spreading down the fertilizer. And that's it. Now, after always spreading down your fertilizer, you want to make sure you water it in nice and deep. Give you, put the sprinkler out if you can. If you have one, or if you have automatic sprinklers, put it out, let it run for at least an hour. That's how I do mine. Depending on what kind of sprinkler system you have, you could time it up. If you got one of those heavy duty sprinkler systems, you might only need to put it down for about 45 minutes. But mine, I let it run for about an hour because it's one of those back and forth sprinkler systems. And just to get down a good amount of water. Also, you can use little tuna cans to measure how much water is being put in the yard. That's always a good way to measure how much. You need about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water on the lawn a week. That's gonna help it stay nice and healthy and green. And then you won't have nothing to worry about. Now, as you can see, fertilizer is almost done. I'm just making the last few passes. And that's about it. It's very, very simple, basic. Like I said, doesn't take Albert Einstein to do the grass. Just a little bit of consistency and knowing what you're doing. Just read your directions. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If it helped y'all in any way, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully this demonstration helped you guys out, showed you everything you needed to know or wanted to know. Like I said, make sure you're mowing the yard, make sure you're weeding the yard, make sure you're fertilizing the yard, make sure you're actually watering the yard. And the fifth one, I didn't explain, put down some insect control to get them grubs out the yard and other pesky insects that will tear up your yard also. They'll eat the roots, eat the grass blades, cause damage. So make sure you're doing that also. And once again, I would like to thank everybody for showing me a lot of love on my graduation photo. It means a lot to me. I truly, truly appreciate it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned for the next video that I'm gonna show you how to actually fight off weeds on the lawn. So stay tuned for that one and take care. Get out in them yards and get them together.